How can you multiply a whole number or a fraction by a fraction? This video is presented in two parts. In part 1, you will learn how to multiply a whole number by a unit fraction and by a non-unit fraction. In part 2 of this video, you will apply what you know about multiplying by a fraction to multiply two fractions. As you watch the video, think about what you already know about fractions as division and multiplying whole numbers. Part 1. Multiply a whole number and a fraction. Zoe bought 3 pounds of bean salad. Her family ate 4/5 of it with their dinner. How much bean salad did Zoe's family eat? Draw a bar model to solve the problem. Each bar represents 1 whole pound. Each pound is partitioned into 5 equal parts. The 4 shaded parts of each bar represents 4/5 pound. To solve the problem, you need to find 4/5 of 3 pounds, which is the same as 4/5 times 3 pounds. The whole number, 3, is not divisible by the denominator, 5. To find 4/5 times 3, find 4/5 of each pound and add 4/5 plus 4/5 plus 4/5 is equal to 12/5. You can write 12/5 as a mixed number. 12/5 is equal to 2 2/5. Zoe's family ate 12/5 pounds or 2 2/5 pounds of bean salad. Now you know how to multiply a whole number by any fraction. This is the end of part 1 of the video. You may choose to pause the video and review part 1 before moving on to part 2. Part 2. Multiply two fractions. You have learned how to multiply a whole number by a fraction. Now let's look at how you can use what you know about multiplying by a fraction to multiply two fractions. How can you multiply two fractions? You have already learned how to multiply a whole number by a fraction. Now let's see what happens when you multiply a fraction by a fraction. We'll start with two unit fractions. Evaluate 1/3 times 1/4. One way to model this multiplication is to use a number line that shows 0 to 1. Start by dividing the number line from 0 to 1 into fourths or 4 equal intervals. Highlight 1/4. 1/3 times 1/4 is the same as 1/3 of 1/4. To find 1/3 of 1/4, divide each fourth on the number line into 3 equal intervals. 3 times 4 is equal to 12, so each interval is 1/12. 1/3 of 1/4 is 1/12. Now let's multiply two non-unit fractions. Evaluate 2/3 times 3/4. Again, use the number line for fourths. This time, highlight 3/4. 2/3 times 3/4 is the same as 2/3 of 3/4. To find 2/3 of 3/4, divide each fourth on the number line into 3 equal intervals. Recall that each of these intervals is 1/12 because 3 times 4 is 12. Now, circle 2/3 of each of the 3/4 that are highlighted. The total amount circled is 2/12 plus 2/12 plus 2/12, which is equal to 6/12. 2/3 times 3/4 is equal to 6/12. To find 2/3 times 3/4, you can also multiply the numerators, 2 times 3, and multiply the denominators, 3 times 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. So the product is 6/12. Now you know how to multiply two fractions.